Good morning, people. And this morning we have got a very inspirational guest on this morning. He'll be sitting backstage and he'll be saying, I'm not really that inspirational, but he really is inspirational. And it's Dean Cameron from Do Great Minds Think Alike, the podcast. So we're going to be speaking to Dean about everything to do with everything. So I'm going to bring him on right now. So give Dean loads and loads of love. Press that wee love heart on your screen. Here he comes.
Hello.
Morning.
Morning.
I know we've been chatting for a wee bit backstage, but obviously I'll pretend that I've not spoke to you and say, how are you doing?
I'm absolutely great. I'm great.
So it's nice to have you here, and I think you're probably one of our furthest travelled guests so far. You're from Fort William. Yes, we've not had anybody out with the vicinity of about 40 miles, so that's great. So, Dean, I'm going to ask you 11 icebreaker questions, and then we're going to get on to having more of a chat, all right? So, yeah, are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're going to put some dramatic music on. No, I'm only joking. So, Dean, when you're not working, what do you like to do in your spare time?
When I'm not working, I'm not really a TV kind of guy. So I'm usually, investing time in myself, spend time with my son. I spend as much time with my son as I can. And when I'm not doing that, I'm working on, side projects, like obviously the podcast. I do a lot of cold water therapy as well. And
we're going to speak about that.
Yeah, definitely. And I work out a lot as well. So yeah, I'm just trying to invest as much time in myself that I've got spare.
Do you know what though? That's something that's so vital. We've been speaking about that a lot in the last couple of weeks about investing time in you. You know, how many people sit on their sofa and spend a lifetime knowing the ins and outs of Coronation Street and all these different soaps. It's crazy, isn't it? So
it's very comfortable though. So I can, when you work long shifts, the first thing you want to do is go home and chill out, which is fair enough. But I don't hold that against anyone because it's long days sometimes. But chilling out it's your time. It's your time. You get to decide what you want to do with it. So
absolutely, I love that. I love the fact that you're like very neutral with that. So
yeah,
well done. Good answer. Next one is, what are you currently reading?
Oh, I just started Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules of Life, The Antidote to Chaos.
That's an amazing book.
Yeah, I've just started
that book.
Yeah.
Do you find it quite difficult to read as well? Because I found
definitely he's very literate. It's crazy. It's really hard to understand the perspective he has through the words he chooses. And I find it good as well because a lot of the time I am looking up what the words mean. So I feel like you're learning even more from it.
Definitely, you're learning loads because I had to do exactly the same. Yeah. I remember the first 15 pages, I was like, what the hell?
It's the isms, like the relativism, the absolutism. Like I love studying like the sort of philosophy side of it. So it's good.
Absolutely. It's a brilliant book. So if you've not already read it, guys, go and jump in there. Next one is, what is the first concert that you attended?
So I've always been into dance music, and the first concert I ever attended was Bass Hunter.
That's pretty decent, no?
Very, very cheesy though. Now when I look back,
cheesy.
And it was my dad that took me as well because I must have been about 14. So if you were a bit younger, you had to be with a parent. So, and I wanted to go that badly, so he took me and my friend. It's looking back, it's funny.
That's amazing. There's one song of his that springs to mind, that it's all I ever wanted.
Yeah,
that one. It's all I ever wanted.
He used to wear the crazy. I think when he was in Scotland, when we seen him, he wore the tartan trousers and that as well.
Oh, really?
Cool. So many young people there just with their parents, and it was so funny because my dad just felt so out of place. and you could just see people with their mums and dads. Mums and dads were just standing there, all these kids are just jumping about.
Mums and dads like that. Love it. That's great. That's a good first concert to go to, because every single other person we've had on, I don't have a clue what the people that they've went to see are. So it's nice to have someone closer to my age where I can actually understand the music. Next one is, what is your favourite word?
Ooh.
You're allowed to swear just for this question.
Success, probably.
Success, that's a good word.
Yeah.
Love that one. Next one is, what was your first job?
My first job was, I was 14 years old cleaning dishes in a Chinese restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty soul destroying work, that, isn't it?
Oh, it was bad. It's probably the hardest labour I've ever done.
I can imagine. That would be crazy. Next one is, what is one thing that you're excited about for 2021?
Oh, there's many things. Obviously we're coming out of this pandemic. Hopefully we can start going a bit back to normality. But I've took some valuable lessons from 2020. I've invested so much time into myself. I feel like it's a year I kind of turned my life around, especially because I've had my son. So I feel like I'm going into 2021 with so many different skills and a mindset that I've completely changed. So I'm excited to see, what's in the future for me. So everything's exciting just now. So many side projects, so many things to come, and I'm just always excited.
Do you know that's brilliant? I've spoken to so many people, Dean, who are they've turned everything around during the pandemic, and they've really found the pandemic to be something that's changed their whole philosophy, their whole thinking on life, which is brilliant. Wonderful. It's really, really good. So love that. Next one is, what is your most used emoji?
Probably the prayer face.
You said that to me this morning, that one. That's interesting, because I wondered if you were going to say that, because you've done that this morning. Apparently that's high five, though. Did you know that?
Oh, is it?
Well, supposedly it's like one hand on this side, the other hand on that side, like high five.
That's even better.
I never knew this either. I was shocked with it. Next one is, if you could win an Olympic medal for any sport, real or fake, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough question. I'd probably say boxing. I've dipped my toe in and out of different sort of martial arts over the years. And when we kind of got out of lockdown last time, I joined the boxing club, and I just kind of fell in love with it. And because I was devoting more time to sort of working out and trying to get in and put myself in hard workouts, I really enjoyed it. And I've just hung a bag out upside just so I can practice. And one of my friends does it as well, so it's something we can do together. So I really do enjoy it. So probably at this stage, but I'd probably say boxing because I'm enjoying it so much. So
that's brilliant.
Probably boxing.
And boxing, it's really fitness based, though, isn't it? It's not just about punching people.
Yeah, it's well, they do. The club here does boxercise classes, and because I was loving it so much, I was literally going in the morning to the boxercise classes and then going at night to the boxing classes. So there was boxercise is more like like high interval sort of boxing style, fitness training, but then obviously the boxing at night would be more technical stuff. So I was enjoying both of it, and they were always so popular. The boxercise classes, especially, with a lot of women going, and it's great to see the classes so full. So yeah, I was loving it before. Obviously, we went back into lockdown. So I'm just trying to obviously keep doing it. That's why I hung the bag out, and I'm looking forward to going back to that. So right now, I'd probably say boxing. Yeah, that's
brilliant. So if we see you in the Olympics next time, like boxing, we know that it happened during the pandemic. Next one is, what is your hidden talent?
I'm not too sure. See, I've always been a strong believer in master nothing, jack of all trades. I couldn't say I'm very talented at one thing. I don't know. I kind of had a big think about this last night, but I'd love to say that my best talent is being a great father. I take a lot of pride in being the best dad I can. Yeah, I try to take pride in being the best I can for my son. So he gives me reason to be the best version of myself. So I'd probably say something around them sort of lines. It's not. It's a hard question because I can't. As I said, I believe in jack of all trades, master of nothing. So I do a lot of different stuff, but I could never say I'm talented at one thing.
That's good though.
That makes sense.
It's good to be brilliant at lots of things. I would actually agree with you because I feel exactly the same. I wouldn't say there's one thing. There's many things that I love to do.
Yeah.
What's really, really apparent is how much you absolutely adore your boy, though.
I do.
So I think that that is I don't suppose if it's a hidden talent or I don't know if I would even call it that, but
no.
It's just something that's very natural.
Yeah. I would
it's funny that having kids changes everything, eh?
It's crazy. It's crazy how much they can change your life.
It's like your whole focus shifts. I think for women having children, they feel that baby growing within them, don't they? So it's like that instant bond. But for guys, it's like when the baby's born, there's that. It's just this.
It's as Jordan Peterson said in one of his lectures. You're not the center of attention anymore. There's the first time in your life this human being that you've produced is now the center of attention. And and you're okay with that because we can be quite egotistical people. Like human beings can be quite egotistical, and it's the first time that in your whole life that someone's there that's more important than you, and and you're okay with that because they're the most important thing to you.
Absolutely. I always say this, that I would trade places with my children for anything. So I would take a knife for my children. I would. It's crazy though, to think that you would do that for your child, but hey ho, that's how it is. Next one is, if someone could play you in a movie of your life, who would you want it to be? That's
a cool curveball. I don't know. I'd have to pick someone obviously with a lot of tattoos, but I'd like to say Tom Hardy, but
Tom Hardy's a good choice. Yeah. That's good. And then the last one is who. I know what you're going to say for this one actually. Who or what has been your biggest teacher in life?
Oh, well, obviously my son.
You were going to do that. Did anybody else call that, just out of curiosity? And it's true the way your kids do teach you so much.
Yeah, they do.
That's actually the biggest, the most popular answer with guests is that their children are their biggest teachers, which is great. So yeah, that's your icebreaker questions done.
Not too bad.
No, that was pretty cool. First thing that we're going to speak about is cold water.
Yeah.
And for people watching this who have never done cold water immersion, they might be saying, why the hell does this nut job of a man jump into freezing cold loch? So why is that?
Oh, there's many different aspects, I suppose. There's the mental well-being, the physical wellness from it. There's that spirituality as well. There's just so much. I mean, when I started it about a year and a half ago, and it started off the cold showers. Obviously, I'm guessing he's no Wim Hof.
Yeah.
Picked it off, which I suppose he has done for a lot of people. And the first time I got into the cold shower, it was absolutely terrible. I hated it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not doing that again." And then I started to try it more and more. I was like, "I'll try and do the 10 days," and then it's just started to feel quite addictive because when you go in there, every thought that you had in your mind before you went in completely disappears. Once you go into that water, there's absolutely nothing on your mind, and you can't get more present than that cold water. And I'd done it for about 6 months in the showers, and then obviously in Fort William we have a loch down at the front of the town. So as it came up to kind of Christmas time, I decided I'm going to, because the water was getting colder, but I was always doing open water swimming anyway with a wetsuit on. And I thought, do you know what, I'm going to try and maybe go into the loch with, because there's these like people in Fort William, they're called Lochaber loons, and they go out like every Saturday and just like in like just bathing suits, and I'm like, these people are crazy. I was like, but they're loving it every Saturday, and I was like, they're loving it, and they're such an amazing wee group of people, and they kind of inspired me. Okay, do you know what? I hear so many, you hear horror stories of, oh, hypothermia, you can't go in that loch just in a pair of shorts, it's too cold, and when I'm seeing them doing it, I goes, well, there must be something. So the more you look into it, the more you're cautious about what you're doing, the benefits kind of follow. So I started going in my shorts, and I would time myself, and I'd get to 3-4 minutes. I'd breathe properly, make sure I was warming up right before to get the blood pumping round. And when I'm coming out, I'm like, wow, this is seriously amazing. Like, I couldn't believe how amazing I felt. It's like a self accomplishment. When you walk out that water, you feel overwhelmed at how great you feel. And then I decided to do the charity thing. So I thought, what I'll do is I'll call it 12 Days of Cold Christmas, and I need to try and inspire others to try this because it feels that good. And then I decided over the 12 days up to Christmas, I would take out local companies, small businesses, to try and help promote their business and get them involved to promote the wellness of the cold water. And every one of them loved it. I had PTs out, I had guys like welders, I had just all kinds of small businesses out with me, and every one of them loved it. And we managed to raise £2,100, and we split it between 3 mental health charities in town, local one, a Ewan's Room, Lochaber Mindfit, and Lochaber Hope. And yeah, it was amazing. And ever since then, I've continued to do it, and I've now got a big whiskey barrel that a local boy made for me, Wooden Things Lochaber. He got a whiskey barrel, a big thing from the distillery, and he finished it off for me. He made it watertight, and now I just fill that with my outside tap, throw ice in it, and after work I'll just go and jump in it every night. And it's amazing. I can't begin to describe how much it's changed my mindset, especially because, as I said, it's uncomfortable. When you come home from work, it's probably one of the last things you want to do, but once you do it, you come out with that self achievement and accomplishment, and you feel great. Like that if I've had a really hard day, where it's been really stressful, if that stress is gone, I'm lying there, I'm like, what was I worrying about before?
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
It does really pull you into the present, though, doesn't it? It completely changes everything.
Totally.
The one thing that we don't have here is any bodies of water that are close.
Yeah. And
with lockdown, obviously, we can't go out with our postcode area, so it's really frustrating.
Yeah.
However, I done the West Highland Way 2 years ago, I think, and actually I walked from Glasgow to your bit.
Wow, I haven't done it.
So what we did was we camped out every single night, and we didn't do the hotels and hostels and all the rest of it. We just walked for about 12 miles a day with kit on our backs.
Wow.
It was fucking horrendous, right? It was the most uncomfortable thing that I've ever done. However, one night we were by Loch Lomond, and if you've ever done the West Highland Way, you're walking Loch Lomond for about, it feels like 3 months, right? So there was really bad rain. We were absolutely drenched. We were miserable. I was, when you get to a point and you're just, like you don't know whether to laugh or cry. So I just stripped off. We camped right beside the loch on the beach part. I just stripped off in my boxers, obviously, and walked into the loch. And there was this beautiful moonlight shining down in the loch. And I just stood and just let the water come right up to my jawline.
Yeah.
And I just stood there in the water, just feeling the water moving me back and forward. And see, when I came out, it was everything changed. Everything changed whilst I was in the water, I suppose, but it just completely changed everything.
No, I totally understand that.
Yeah. So, have you ever went into the loch with the full moon? Because that's an experience.
When I was doing the challenge, it was nighttime, obviously, because I was finishing work, but I've never done it with a full moon. I would absolutely love to do that. And you've definitely got that in my head now.
A full moon coming. I can't remember what date it's on, but it's pretty full in the sky now, so you could potentially do it over the next few days.
Oh yes, it's a weekend, so I'll definitely try that now.
Right. Honestly, it was amazing because the moon was like lighting up the loch. It was phenomenal. Best thing that I've ever done. And it helped my feet. It helped my body. My body was so tired that day from walking. That it just completely changed my physiology, I believe, that day. So, we've got a few people asking questions, so I'm just going to pull the questions up. In fact, there are no questions. Susie's asking, does it work the same in an old shower?
So, being a plumber, I'm trying to
say you're a plumber, so you'd be able to help with that.
I'm trying to understand an old shower. An electric shower, just turn it to cold. Mine's electric. The mixer showers, you can just turn to cold. It can work in any shower, I suppose. Yeah, as long as it's cold. If you don't have a shower, you can try a bath. Personally, I think showers are harder because I shower first with warm water, obviously clean myself, and then I do the cold at the end. But then obviously when you do like cold baths and stuff, you're just jumping straight in. And I sometimes find that easier. I think that puts people off a lot when they try the cold shower the first time. But as I said, don't be scared because everyone reacts the same way. I screamed the first time I jumped in a cold shower. So try not let it scare you. It is uncomfortable. We all go through that same initial shock. But after you get used to it. I still, I'm 2 minutes in the cold shower. When I'm out in the barrel, I'm about 5 minutes. But I still get the to start. I'm just better at controlling it now because I've worked on my breathing and because I've done it so many times. But give it a shot and you'll just benefit from it. Try and give yourself a goal of 10 days at least, and then think about how you feel after them 10 days. And I promise you, I'll put so much money down and you'll feel absolutely amazing. Yeah.
And a wee disclaimer with this as well, guys. Don't go jumping into your local reservoirs.
No.
Certainly don't go jumping into lochs or reservoirs or bodies of water without people being there with you or knowing where you are.
It's important. It's important to always, check with your doctor if you're, because if you've got high blood pressure or if you've got any underlying health conditions, it's very important to maybe check with your doctor if you should be stepping in that cold shower because there's still cold water shock is still very dangerous.
Yeah.
And, there is the risk of heart attack. You know what I mean? And it's and people sometimes it's a big phase just now and it's very popular, but some people are still kind of maybe underestimating the
danger.
The dangers, and it's very important to double check, if you're fit and healthy enough to do it. And as you said, always take someone with you. I've never been out in that loch doing the cold water without someone being there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what we're speaking about is absolutely brilliant. But like Dean says there, do see your GP if you have any concerns or any underlying health conditions, because last thing you want to do is put yourself in danger. Yeah. But for the fit and healthy, the people who, are generally quite well, it shouldn't really have any kind of adverse effect.
What comes with it is one of the main things as well, what I started to notice was when I was taking a lot of people out is that ego testicle sort of mindset starts to come to think, how long can you stay in the water for? Yeah. And it's very important not to push your body to that extreme limit. I mean, you'll get the exact same health benefits from a couple of minutes to 10. So don't go and try and pushing your body to see how far you can get. It's not about it's not about that. It's getting the help in from just going in, you know, feeling great and then coming out. It's not about pushing your body to that maximum stress. You know, and that's very important as well. You know, I stay 5 minutes max, and you know, when people ask, oh, how long do you stay in for? I go 5 minutes, and I won't stay in any longer. You know, I'm not aiming to break any world record. I'm just wanting to get the benefits of, you know, being in there 5 minutes. You know, and it's as Wim Hof says in his book, you know, there's been a few times where he's almost died through the cold exposure. You know, he's almost, you know, he's had that phase where, you know, you get very sleepy and you want to crawl up and fall asleep. He said he's had that a few times. You know, and it's you know, it's there's that barrier, you know, but there's signs to be able to tell when your body's had enough, you know, like your finger dexterity. When I had people out in the water, I'd be constantly speaking to them, so I know if they're starting to slur their words, you know, it's time to get out. You need things to focus on, like.
Yeah, I love that though. I love the fact that, you know, you're looking after the people that you're taking out as well, which is great.
Yeah.
We'll need to get you down here because obviously we've said that before we came on, like you're going to come down after the pandemic, and we'll maybe take you somewhere, I don't know, Linlithgow Loch or something, somewhere historical.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Some pictures for your podcast or for even your social media.
Yeah.
Because you can't put pictures on a podcast, so I'll just shut up and move on. So speaking about the podcast, you have a podcast that you do. Is it weekly, Dean?
Right now, it's kind of. I'm doing about 2-3 guests a month. As I said, we're still kind of starting out. I'm on the 5th guest tonight, so you know it's still pretty fresh and new. So I haven't decided what kind of how often we're getting the guests in. You know, it's very, as you know yourself, it's very time consuming, and I work 12-hour shifts every day. So that little block I have at night is the only time I get to try and look for guests and try and speak to guests.
I don't think anybody realizes what goes on behind the scenes and stuff like this. You know, so much work, so much preparation. And your podcast, it's called "Do Great Minds Think Alike."
Yep.
So I'm going to urge you guys to go on and listen. They are broadcast on Spotify. Is that right?
Yeah, Spotify just now, and I'm working on getting iTunes and YouTube soon. So yeah.
And you know, I've listened to 2 of them, and brilliant conversations. You know, you're one thing that I'm always when I'm listening to you speaking, what you said or what you have said is, I know I'm Scottish and I speak really fast. Like, take that away. Like, we're Scottish people need to come to our level, so they need to move their thinking up. But I am very mindful of that as well. You know, we've got people who watch us from Canada, America, Australia, and they always say, what is that word that you said, Stephen? You know, they'll send a wee message saying, what is that word that you always say? And I can't remember what it was. I'm sure it was canny, actually.
Canny.
Can't remember, or I can't remember.
We're quite, to be honest, up in Fort William, we're quite. I wouldn't say our accent's too bad. You know, we don't use too many different phrases. We don't really have much kind of, you know, like canny or. I've got a boy a student that rents a room from me, and he says like tune and dune, and you know, we're not really. We kind of say the words the way they are, but I think it's kind of like more like a posh Scottish, I would like to say, but.
It's a posh Scottish. A very. I think Fort William has a very posh Scottish accent. One of my favourite places in the whole of Scotland, and you do have it's just a very mindful accent, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, Edinburgh's like Dinny and Ken and Barry, and Glasgow's what you saying. So yeah. The dialects are really different between Edinburgh and Glasgow, but then you go further up and it's softer.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's literally, you could probably drive about 45 minutes and the accent completely changes. I think that's crazy.
I love that though. I love the fact that, you know, we've got such a diverse, multilingual dialect in Scotland. You know, you go a bit further up the road for you and they're speaking Gaelic.
My grandparents, they only spoke Gaelic in the house. You know, they didn't speak English around me at all, because my family are originally from Stornoway, so they would never speak any English. So I got brought up fluent in Gaelic, and then when they passed away when I was young, I went on to high school and forgot it all. I was fluent when I was about 12 years old, and it's all gone now. And it kind of breaks my heart a little, because, you know, there's not a lot out there now. My sister, she's training to be a Gaelic teacher, so she's the only one in the family that's still trying to continue to do it, which makes me quite proud, because, you know, it is our heritage in a way. So, but I would love to learn it.
We should learn Gaelic in school, shouldn't we?
What's that? Sorry,
I think there was a wee blip there, but I'm saying we should learn Gaelic in school. Every single Scottish primary school should be teaching kids Gaelic. Yeah,
I would love for them to kind of. I think they are trying to put more into. Also, you've got all the signs now that have the Gaelic underneath, and I love that. I think it's very important to keep that heritage, something that means something to us. You know, I would hate for it to die out.
See, my wife, she grew up in Dublin, and they all learned, they call it Gaelic in Ireland.
That's right.
So they all learned Gaelic as part of the school curriculum growing up. So I think that, you know, Ireland are doing it. Why? Come on, the Celts, we need to get back to doing that. So, so in your podcast, what was the inspiration for it, Dean?
So just before I had my son, obviously I knew I over the past kind of 6 years, my life had been a bit crazy. You know, I was, you know, involved in a lot of partying, and, you know, just life was all chaos. I had no direction, no purpose, nothing I was really passionate about. And, you know, I was just living for the weekend, you know, working through the week and just living to party every weekend. And, you know, when you have no goals or ambitions, it's like, as I said, there's no path there. And, you know, I feel like after a whole 6 years I've done that. And then I kind of turned around and I was like, where's my life going here? Am I going to do this for the next 6 years? And then me and my partner at the time, we had broken up, and we're still very good friends today. And she found out she was pregnant. And this was a big wake-up call for me. And, you know, I kind of realised, you know, as I said, what Jordan Peterson had said kind of hit me as well. You know, I'm not going to be the most important person in my life anymore. And it scared me. And at the start, you know, I was so doubtful of how great of a father I would be. You know, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. You know, I was living in my friend's room. I didn't have a house. I didn't have anything really. I kind of just, the house that I had with that partner, I kind of just said, well, I don't want to put you homeless. You know, you're pregnant. You just keep that house. So, you know, I went kind of homeless with my friend, you know, which I'm so thankful for, gave me a place to stay for the whole year. You know, at one point, because I didn't have anywhere, at one point he was like, when your son's born, we'll set up a room in here for him. And I was like, wow, this is just amazing to have people so supportive. But, you know, when it's hard to take that from your friend, you know, your friend's doing that for you, but, you know, then you start to feel like, you know, I should be able to do this. Mm-hmm. So when he was born, something just clicked, you know, and I devoted so much time into bettering myself. And through that, I got more involved in reading. And what books I loved the most was people, you know, like successful people that had overcome adversity in their life. And it's a very common theme with successful people that they've all faced very hard. Most of them have faced very kind of hard lives. And sorry, it's just went off there. Some of them have faced very hard lives, and to see how they've overcame that and achieved that success was very motivational and inspiring to me to do that myself. So I decided I wanted to kind of, you know, meet new people that had brought success into their life. And, you know, the first guy I did the podcast with, something that he said always kind of reminded me. It was like you know, you are who you spend the most time with. And he says, you surround yourself with important, successful people, inspiring, positive people, you will become successful, positive, and inspiring. I was like, wow. I was like, this is amazing. And then a light bulb moment, I was like, why don't I start a podcast speaking to people that have done this, that have, you know, that have overcome adversities, that have, you know, maybe started from nothing, worked their way up, and now they're very successful, they're inspiring people, and, you know, they live a positive lifestyle, because these are the people we can learn from. And I have more of an open mind now to believe that every one of us has something we can teach others. And then obviously when I started the podcast, I kind of put a thing on Facebook and like, keep that open mind that you can learn something from these people. And I truly believe that. And it has showed, because I have had, loads and loads of messages of people saying, wow, I had an amazing message there of a young girl who's full-time just now. And she goes, your podcast has gave me that inspiration to go and start this course that I've been not sure about starting. She's like, it's just gave me that extra push I needed. And now she's doing that course, and now she's on her way to, doing something that she was always wanting to do. And it's and then it's like that's it just makes me so happy to see that people are starting to realize this is why I started it. It's these people gave me that push to do this, and now it's something for me to give back to other people as well. And every one of them I've learned from, so it's been great.
So one thing that I'm going to say to you about your podcast is change your language around it. Because when I asked you about your podcast earlier, what you said was, it's still really small, we're just getting started. It's amazing. Oh my God, your podcast is fantastic. And you've had 4 episodes, but wow. Or 5 episodes, but wow, what a journey it's been so far.
Thank you very much.
Change your language around it. Don't discount it. And it's so true what you're saying, because I am very much the same as you, Dean. People who are successful excite me. I want to cut them open, and I want to have a wee look inside to see what it is that's ticking inside them that I can apply to my life. And I know that you're exactly the same. I have to say, and we were speaking about this before you came on, I 4 or 5 years ago, can't remember now, I signed the lease for our shop with a £5 in my back pocket, not knowing how the hell I was going to pay for the deposit, thinking, what the frick have I done? And I think when you have that belief in that expectation that it's going to work, it works. And I always say this to everybody that I meet: don't hope and dream, expect.
Yeah.
Everything that comes to you, just expect that it's coming. Because hopes and dreams can often become, I suppose, just dreams. So when we expect things, that's not a bad thing to expect things. Would you agree?
No, definitely not. No. It's very important for everyone to know that each and every one of us has that potential to get that goal or that ambition that we dream of. And it's the mistakes that we make in life, the failures. Well, I don't believe in failure. So everything that everything is a lesson. I don't believe in failure at all. Failure is just a lesson. And there's so many times these people have failed and then learned their lesson from that failure to better themselves for the next time they try that goal, to aim to get to that goal. And it's so important for people to realize, do not give up the first hurdle. It's in your grasp. You just have to totally believe in yourself. It is totally within your grasp. And every one of us has the potential to be the best versions of ourselves and to achieve any goal we believe in. So
definitely. I always say fail is first attempt in learning. You ever heard that?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So if you feel that you're failing, oh my God, you're learning.
Yes. It's a part of life. I know, and failure is not a bad thing. No, it's not at all.
We spoke to James Hughes last week, and he was telling us about the 6 fundamentals of life. Have you ever heard them?
No, I can't say that I have.
I'm trying to find them. So the six fundamentals, or the 6 human needs, what every single human on the planet needs. First one is certainty. We all need certainty. Second one is uncertainty. So you got that paradox between the two. So we always need certainty and uncertainty. Third one is significance. We need to feel needed. The fourth one is connection and love. And the fifth one, which blew my mind, is growth. Because if you aren't growing, you're dying.
I like that.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. I do like that.
see, honestly, when I heard that number 5, I was.
I do like that, and it's from every one of them. Every one of them creates a path, and I suppose when one of them's not getting implemented into your life, there's not really much path forward there, is there? So I love that.
It reminded me, when you were saying there, for 6 years it was party lifestyle. I could take the same, but at a much younger stage in my life before I met my wife. I kind of went off the rails a wee bit for 2 years, like, way party, and lots of different partners and all of the rest of it. And then something just changes within you, But see, if I was to view myself during that time, I wasn't growing. I was dying. I was slowly becoming a worse version of myself.
Yeah, of course.
I would have hangovers. I would wake up in the morning. I'd be smoking loads. I'd be feeling shit all the time.
Yeah.
And, I'd be looking for the next party to make me feel that instant hit. And then the next day, boom. So it was all these huge, big highs and lows.
It's a vicious circle, like a very vicious circle. I mean, a lot of the time you're chasing the weekend because, the weekend would be the only time you'd feel alive. And then the Monday comes and you're so down with everything that went on at the weekend, the dopamine and serotonin crashes, and the body feeling sore from all the alcohol, and you're just cloudy. You're not yourself that 4 days, that 3 days. And then you start to feel alive again normally on the Thursday, Friday, and that's it. You're like, let's do it again. And it's just a vicious circle, and you get caught up in that and caught up in that. And the one thing I noticed the most, but was the hardest thing for me, is when I stopped it all. If I went 2 weeks without drinking or going partying, this is at the start when I stopped, my brain was like, what's going on? Because it became such a routine. And I would end up suffering from really bad anxiety when I wasn't out. I'd be sitting in the house saying, no, I need to go out and drink, or, and because I wasn't, and because it was such a routine for me, the anxiety was going through the roof, and my body was not understanding why I wasn't. And it was really strange to see, wow, you were so dependent on them weekends, them crazy lifestyle. Now your body's trying to throw you off because you're not doing it. And it's mad how much your body can adapt to that lifestyle. It's crazy.
Because when people are going through stress and anxiety, the one thing that we need is coping strategies. And usually people's coping strategies is in alcohol, spending time with friends, partying, all of that kind of stuff. However, changing those coping strategies to very simple things like, for yourself, it's been cold water immersion, going out walking with your son, and just being present as a human being, I suppose. And not number 5, dying.
Exactly.
Because you're not growing during that time, are you? You're just basically existing.
Yeah, there's no kind of purpose.
Yeah.
There's no end goal there. When there's no sort of end goal, where's your direction? And there was no direction for me. There was no end goal. There was no purpose, as I said. But now I do have a purpose. My purpose is to be as healthy and to live as long as I can, to spend as much time with my son as possible. So, that is my end goal now, to live a long, healthy life, and to be able to give him everything he needs to be successful, to give him everything he needs to be the best human he can be. So I'm lucky, obviously, I'm not telling everyone to go out and have children to try and counter that, but that's what, at the time I didn't know that was how much it would change my life. But, it has, and I'm very grateful that it happened.
Yeah. I completely agree with you, because meeting my wife and having our children, what's interesting for me though is on my side of things, when I met my wife. So I was for 2 years I was working in, I was a pastry chef to trade, and I don't know if you've ever been in a kitchen, but chefs like to drink.
Really?
Yeah, they do. So we would have like really, really busy nights of service, be absolutely knackered, and then we'd go for a drink in the bar, which was adjacent to the kitchen.
Right.
So it was just this horrible way of living and being. Alcohol kind of surrounded everything, and it just made things foggy.
Yeah.
So I met my wife, and when I met my wife, she already had 2 children. Right. And I was like, whoa, no way. I can't be with someone that's got kids.
Yeah.
But she got under my skin, and I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks into like seeing her, dating her, I met the kids. I just fell in love. Sorry, dog barking again. I just fell in love with the kids. And see, for me, I loved those kids first. And when, obviously, I loved her, but, I just fell in love with these wee ones because they were so vulnerable and so dependent. And I thought, I can't let those wee ones down. And I remember when we had our son, I remember saying to my wife and the health visitor, I don't love him the same way I love the other 2.
I have the most respect for you for that, because I never had a father growing up for 8 years of my life, and my stepdad, which I called dad, came into my life when I was 8. He was 18 years old when he met my mum. A lot of responsibility for an 18-year-old guy, and I've got 2 sisters as well, which are twins. And he came into our lives, and as an 18-year-old guy, he done everything he could for us. And what you just said there is we've now got a wee brother that he's got a son to my mum, which is our wee brother, and he said the exact same to us, and he said the exact same to my mum. I love them just as much as I love Len. And my dad is my best friend, and everything that the vibe I give off, everything that kind of comes off from me, the way I am with my son, is definitely directly linked to the way he brought me up. And he makes. I'm so proud of everything he's done, because he's the most inspiring guy in my life. And over the next few weeks, I'm actually going to get him on my podcast, because he is the most, in my eyes, successful, inspiring, and positive person I've ever met. And he's constant on Instagram. He loves putting up a lot of motivational videos. He's so well spoken, and he's just a very, very inspiring guy. And he's what you just said there, I can resonate with so much. And I take my hat off you for doing that, because them kids will never, ever forget that. And it will be very important to them.
You can. Sorry. Talking about children, I need to tie the cord of his trousers. Right. There you go. Bye-bye. Good boy. Sorry, that never happens, but it happened this morning. You know what you're saying there is it's something I never ever thought that I would ever see myself in. Mm-hmm. I never thought I would ever be a stepdad, but I don't see myself as a stepdad. I see myself as their dad, and right through their whole life, we've always given their dad the opportunity. We've always said, I'm not going to replace you. Yeah. You can see them whenever you like and all the rest of it. But I'm their dad, in That's every single sense of the word.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah. I just adore them. They're a pain in the arse sometimes, but
as you said there, my stepdad's not my stepdad. He's my dad, and that's it. And what he holds on to his biggest regret, and he's sometimes when we have drinks, or but sometimes when family nights get a bit emotional, the one thing he always regrets in life is not adopting me before I turned 18.
Yeah,
you know, and I was like, but it doesn't matter about papers. At the end of the day, you'll always be my dad, and that's that. You know what I mean? It's, but I love the fact that you've done that, mate. And as I said, them kids will be so grateful that you did, and that's coming from someone that's experienced themselves. So I take my hat off to you.
Thanks, man. That's really kind. Making me emotional. Stop it. But yeah, I just love that. So you're going to get your dad on to talk on your podcast, which I'm actually quite excited for. I really want to hear that one. So I'll definitely be tuning in and listening on that one. And what do you think? I'm going to ask you a question. What do you think makes people inspirational?
I think someone that inspires me is someone that's trying to be the best version of themselves in a way where they're aiming, where they don't see themselves as inspiring. You know, it's someone that is doing it not out the fact that they're trying to look inspiring or look successful or look plausible, but it's natural to them. It's it's second nature, and without them even realizing it, they are helping so many people. Mm-hmm. And I love that. I love seeing people that are just doing it out of the greater good for no reward. It's like one of my friends said to me recently. It's the difference between Buddhism and Christianity, and it's like I love all religions. I just love I'm the kind of person that believes in whatever you can believe in whatever you want, as long as you're not hurting anyone. Yeah. And I love learning about all kinds. And I remember hearing this thing about Buddhism where they're trying to be good people because of the greater good. Mm-hmm. And I love that. They're doing it for no reward. There's no reward of a heaven after. It's just out of the greater good. And I love that. I love that saying. Just being a good person for that greater good for no reward. And for me, that really relates with inspiring people. It's people that are doing it for no reward. They're doing it just to be good people, just to help others.
I love that.
There's so many great, I'm not so much fixated with any sort of religion, but there's so many great Christian motivational speakers. And I love the way they use the kind of the biblical stories to inspire others. There's a guy called, I want to say Ray Wilkinson Jr., and I watch his all the time, and he's a very, very strong Christian guy. And the way he brings in the sort of biblical stories, I love, and he really does inspire a lot of people. He's probably one of my favorite motivational speakers. And I believe there's good and there's bad from everything. There is, and there's so much you can take away from every sort of religion. And it's great to kind of dive into. As I said, I'm so open-minded. I said that kind of at the start, and I believe there's something good you can learn from everything. So keep that open mind that you might not like something, but there might be something you could learn from it. Or you might not believe in something, but there might be something you can learn from it. And it's all about learning, as you said in that the 6 aspects of life.
Yeah, I only think 5 of them though.
I thought you said 5, and I didn't. But
cool. Let me hear number 6. So keep going, and I'll.
So it's all about growth, as you said. Learn, grow, it's all about growth. You're right.
Number 6 is contribution. We need to contribute.
Yeah, contribute to the greater good, inspire others.
It's interesting because your beliefs or your thinking is very aligned with my own, and everybody watching this, you guys will know. You'll be like, he sounds like Stephen, because that's very much the stuff that I speak about. But and this wasn't set up, by the way, for anybody who's asking. But being Scotland's spiritual hub, all right, I completely, wholeheartedly believe that we encompass all religion. I can take lots of learning from Buddhism. I can take lots of learning from spiritualism, Catholicism, the Quran, all of amazing stuff.
Yeah.
If you're prepared to look and learn,
Exactly.
if you're prepared to absorb the message that's right for you. Because what's the point in listening to something or reading something if it doesn't resonate with you? So I think, when there's something ringing inside your soul that's saying, this makes sense to me, take it, use it, learn from it. I love that.
Definitely.
So does anybody have any questions for Dean? Because we've only got 5 minutes left. Would you believe that? It's been a quick hour, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
So does anybody have any questions for Dean? You can also follow him on TikTok. And you've got how many followers on TikTok, Dean?
I hit 10,000 today.
10,000 followers! Amazing. So yeah, you can go follow him on TikTok. You can follow him on Instagram as well. And what is your Instagram?
It's my Instagram is Dino C _1994.
I'll pop that in the comments. Dino C.
Dino C _1994.
Instagram, and then what's your TikTok?
It's my TikTok I use to kind of promote a lot of the motivational speeches I'm trying to work on. It's just Dean Cameron 6.
Dean Cameron
6. Yeah.
Cool. So you might have a few more followers after today. I think I've done that right. Yeah. So yeah, go on. Have a look at all the Dean stuff. He is really inspiring. I am very much about. I love to watch people who inspire me, and scrolling through TikTok, seeing Dean, I was like, this guy is really, really inspiring. So yeah, jumped across and sent you a message. Do you want to come on our surgery? Here we are.
And it's been amazing. Thank you very much for having me on. And I would love to have you on the podcast.
Brilliant. Yeah. You on your podcast, I think.
Yeah. Then I can ask you 11 questions out there random.
I really like being on the other side of things, actually. So I've been vulnerable twice this week. On Tuesday, we had my mum on, which is, my mum is probably one of the most inspiring people for me because, when I was growing up, I was experiencing lots of things that, did you watch that one?
Yeah, I haven't, but I seen it. I was actually going to watch it because, as I said about my dad coming on. Like you said, we're so alike. You had your mum on, and then I'm wanting my dad on. So, what you just said, your mum was the most inspiring person in your life, as my dad was mine. So,
yeah, my mum, she, as you'll see if you watch it, she's been through cancer twice. My sister and my mum were actually diagnosed with cancer within a week of each other.
Wow!
And I just look at them and I'm like, you guys are just amazing. They're the most inspiring people for me. Just love it. Anyway, so have a wee look at that as well.
I'll check it out today. I'm off today, so I have a bit of free time, so I'll definitely check it out.
Brilliant. Nobody's asking you any questions, but Lisa's saying there that you're very easy on the eye.
Thanks, Lisa. A good compliment to start my day.
That's fantastic. Oh, for God's sake. Tiny trousers again. So yeah, that is us for today, guys. Dean, I have to say thank you so much for coming on. I absolutely love chatting to you. And would you be interested in coming back one day?
100%, anytime, definitely. We'll see how the podcast goes. We might have some new things we can talk about by the end of the year, I'm sure. So definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when we go back to normal as well, we're not going to be able to do our soul man surgeries when we're back to normal the same way we did, but we're going to maybe try and do them once a month because obviously when you go back to work, everything changes. And we've been doing these to really help people right throughout the whole pandemic. So
No, I really love what you're doing. It's very inspiring, and it's great to be a part of it today. So
yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you so much. Stick around. We'll have a wee blather before you go.
yeah,
Thank you so much, Dean. And
thanks, guys.
Please do jump on, give Dean a follow, see what he's doing, and listen to his podcast. Do Great Minds Think Alike? It's an orange logo, isn't it?
Yeah, an orange. You'll see it's like a sort of animated version of me with my glasses on, and
yeah, cool. So thank you, Dean, and thank you, everybody. And I shall see you all on Monday with Susan Watson. And on Monday, Susan and I are talking about I do not know what, but what we will be talking about is self-regulation, as always. How to engage your parasympathetic nervous system, get out of your thinking mind and into your feeling. So we'll talk about all of that on Monday with Susan. So Dean, thank you so much. See you later.
See you.